If I just got my personal training certification today, here's a list of things I would do to help me find the correct path. The first thing that I would tell myself or any young trainer is there is no such thing as a correct path. Direction is way more important than speed. I had very little success in my first year of training. I worked at 2 gyms and I went the traditional route of doing one-on-one personal training. And how I got these clients was walking the gym floor, picking up weights, talking with members. And I'm not a seller. I'm a talker. I can talk for hours. I can talk about anything. But the moment that I feel like I'm selling somebody, something inside me just feels slimy. There's a wrong way to approach people and there's a more fitting way to approach people. Here's a tip, right? If somebody is working out and they have headphones in, more times than not, don't bother them. If their form is good, give them a nod. And if it's not good, keep walking. Because nobody wants to be told with the first interaction, hey, your form is shit and this is what you need to work on, especially men. Another tip that I have for you is become friendly with the front desk people and your manager, because when they have a new potential client that needs a trainer, you want to be the first person that they think of. Next piece of advice is to read and watch everything you can find. You can learn from trainers who are at the top of your industry, and you can learn from your peers who are making mistakes or they lack enthusiasm. I've overheard trainers talking about themselves or complaining about their boss. Your client is paying you money to help them reach their goals, not to be your therapist. Another thing I've seen shitty trainers do is rely on their personality or marketing to help them get clients and keep clients. Trust me when I say, if you're good at what you do and you treat your people well, referrals will help you get more clients. I've spent every single day for the first few years on YouTube listening to how the best trainers in the industry would explain the most complicated concepts in the most simplest way. Knowing your audience will help you further in communication than displaying your knowledge. You don't want to sound like you're reading straight from a textbook. Instead of trying to sound like an expert, sound like somebody who's talking to their friend. This leads to my third point. Who you know matters more than what you know. I was in a fortunate position to meet somebody who changed the trajectory of my personal training career, and his name is Mike Vacanti. How I found Mike was watching a Gary Vee interview on a Breakfast Club one day, and Gary talked about how his personal trainer was leaving him. And I'm thinking, like, why would you want to leave this cash cow? So I looked up who he was, and I consumed everything he posted on his website, on theregimen.com, and on his YouTube. And this is how small the world is. I'm at New York Sports Club at the time and I'm having a meeting with my manager, and then I see Mike walking in and I'm starstruck, like, are you fucking kidding me? So I tell my manager I need a moment. I go up to Mike, talk for like 5 minutes, introduce myself, and then that's it. There was no pressure. It wasn't like, hey, help me with this. It was like, bro, your content changed my life. Thank you so much. That's it. Every time I saw Mike at the gym, we talked. We talked for a few minutes and the conversations kept getting longer and longer until one day he was just like, hey man, is there anything I can do to help you out? And that's where I almost broke down and told him, yo, I don't think I'm cut out to be a trainer. There's nobody here to train. I can't talk to clients. I can't X, Y, and Z. Just complaining. Because I just had no confidence. There was no proof of concept. I'm walking the gym floor, and when I have assessments to do, it wasn't a guarantee that I was going to get the client because I just didn't have the experience. He set up an intro email, and then that's how I met my current boss, Kevin. And through the years of working for Kevin and knowing Mike, I met so many more fitness coaches that I respect. My fourth point is to try everything you can think of and experiment. I thought the only way that you could be a personal trainer was to train people one-on-one in person. And then I came to structure, and then that's when I met the semi-private training model. So imagine you go from training people one-on-one to now training 4 people at a time, maybe 6 people at a time. Everybody has their own program, and so you're learning how to communicate with different types of people, different age groups, people with injuries, people who need modifications. The list goes on. And we had 2 locations, on the Upper East Side and Midtown. So the Upper East Side had people that were older, had people that needed modifications because they were injured, had people that couldn't read their programs, so you had to read their programs and tell them what to do, and then you had to just basically plan the steps ahead. At the other location, I trained a younger population that needed to slow things down and unlearn what they saw on social media. And over the years, I learned how to teach fitness classes with up to 20 people. I've taught and learned CrossFit. I have learned online fitness coaching, nutrition coaching, virtual training, the list goes on. So one of the best pieces of advice I could give to anybody new who's starting out is say yes to everything. You will learn fast, you will adapt well, you will also figure out if it's for you or not. I've met trainers. I've met so many trainers that came to structure and tried to do the semi-private training model and it couldn't work out for them. And that's not to say they're not good trainers, just everything isn't for everyone. I'm a person where I thrive on chaos. I thrive when the environment needs order. My fifth piece of advice is to use social media to your advantage. When my social media started to change, I copied what other top fitness coaches did in the industry, and then I made it my own. It was like a remix, right? So basically think of it as like, this is the theme that this coach is talking about and this is their points. Cool. How can I remix it and say it in my own language? What's going to separate you from other coaches is your point of view and your energy. You have to think long term, because if you focus on the day to day, you'll be frustrated with how slow things are moving. Think about it like this. How many times have you had someone ask you, how long will it take to get results? And the answer depends. It depends on how consistent you are and are you doing the correct things every day. You need consistency. You need to build momentum, and that doesn't happen overnight. Everything takes time. The bigger the dream, the longer it'll take. And last but not least, everything that glitters isn't gold. Don't look at other coaches on the internet and see the success that they're having and think that is what your dream is.